This right here is a 1993 BMW. We're gonna make it drift ready. Has an M50 motor, came with an automatic transmission. This one is pretty stock. I put an aluminum radiator in it, but this one busted, so we're gonna throw another one in there. I did put a steering wheel in it too. Automatic transmission, we're gonna swap that over to a 6-speed. Did come with an LSD, but we got a E36 diff and an M3 rear end we're gonna throw in it too. And then we're gonna throw some Bilsteins on it. Also reinforce the rear end, and we'll see with the motor with time, but I'm planning on keeping this motor, whether we build it up some more, turbocharge it, NA, we'll see from there. Start off, let's get this rear end out. Look at it, the rear end is out. Got the exhaust dropped, left the drive shaft in there. We're about to pull the gas tank next because we're going to be reinforcing the lower points on the subframes. And the trailing arms also, where they bolt in right here. We need to throw some reinforcements in there. Alright, it's been a little bit of time. I got different shoes on, just they're already dirty, showing how much time has passed. But we got the reinforcements welded in to all the subframe mounting spots with some underbody coating on it. Even the trailing arm mounting spots. Just recently saw someone rip one of these out, and I didn't want that happening to me. Not with this car, it has to be reliable. No, I did not weld everything with the gas tank in. We just got the gas tank back in. Didn't film that because that's not fancy in any sort of way. This is the rear end going in. It is not from this chassis. This is an M3 rear end, and it has an E32 750 diff in it. This is an LSD. Bolts in with a Road Rally adapter kit. This is a billet aluminum piece in the rear that bolts in place, but over on the front you have to chop out the normal M3 mounting spot where the bushing is and weld in this piece. You can also see everything is polyurethane. Every single bushing throughout the whole thing. So rad there. We also got the Megan adjustable lower control arms. And lastly, on the rear end, dual caliper mounting spots. This just runs the normal 325 calipers. All right, let's get this into this. All right, a little bit more progress on the E36. As you can see, got the whole rear subframe all set in. We also swapped over to the Bilstein PSS 9s. They had some eye-box springs before, and these awesome shocks that obviously work extremely well. Got some new rotors on here. We're going to start installing the brake calipers. I also got the secondary ones. That's going to be for the hydraulic handbrake setup. And we also have some new steel braided lines. Let's go check out the front. Full suspension in the front is all removed. We're going to be swapping over the PSS 9 coils, and then we're going to have different control arms on here. Dual mount calipers are both on. We also got the steel braided lines going up. I got the hydraulic e-brake line coming through the car. Alright, we're still working on the e-brake placement. I ended up putting some nutserts into the frame here, using the factory hole here, and then putting another nutsert there. I also fouled up this bracket. There's the 3 holes right there. I'm going to bolt this in. We're going to get the e-brake in, put the cover over it. Alright, take a look. Fits perfectly. So stoked with how it turned out. More on this thing. So you can see here we got a new CSF radiator. I've already done the pleasure of removing the old one and throwing on the new silicone lines that are right here. I got the old radiator over here, and there's a hole in it. So got this one. Seems to be a little bit better quality. So we're about ready to toss this baby in. I also have an electric fan up here from Mishimoto. Also have to rebuild the heater core, so I just bought a simple eBay kit to replace the seals. I think it's stuck closed, so I don't have any heat going through. We're gonna get that working for the winter time. I already did the pleasure of also draining the transmission fluid. There's a transmission cooler right there, just pulled it down. We undid some of the lines from underneath, so we're gonna feed it out and get rid of it. I got my pedal box right here. This is from another vehicle I had for a while. And as of right now, we're working on getting the transmission out. We already got pretty much everything out from doing the rear end. You can see the drive shaft is there on the floor with the exhaust and everything. Rear end is in. And we also got the rest of the suspension done. So we got the SLR kit on, got the new brakes on, transferred over the PSS 9s. Let's go ahead and get the cooling system down. Let's get the transmission off. We'll start to bleed all the brakes too, but I kind of want to finish up the e-brake lines. I got the radiator in with the shroud. We went back to the normal stock fan since the clutch I think is still good and I prefer that anyways. Check it out. Transmission is out. We have to throw the pedal box in, which I got over here. This is the one from a manual one. The master cylinder right here has obviously seen better days, so upgrading it. We got a tilting unit right here with Rise Fabrication Shop. I got the adapter plate. We got the cylinder all together. It's all adapted. You remove the spring. I swapped over to banjos for the upper portions because I was having clearance issues with the firewall. I ended up beating the firewall in a little bit to even fit it. We also got the clutch line already running through right here. That's already going up to the normal master cylinder up at the top. Over here, we finally got the armrest delete center console in. We also got the shifter, and this is the RTD. Let's go ahead and get this pedal box in, finish up this project. The pedal box is in. We got the steel braided line coming down there, going to the normal factory output hole. We got the intake off. So I decided to pull the intake so I could put the transmission back in a little bit easier. So we also got the starter pulled out. And over here, we have the transmission that's going in. So this is a manual transmission from a 335D. We did not get these here in the States. This is the GS653DZ. I picked up this one from Portugal and had it shipped over. It doesn't bolt onto the normal M50, but right here we have a adapter plate. This is from PMC. We'll bolt this onto this, bolt this up, see how much clearance we gotta make for the starter, and then start installing it into the car. All right, we have installed the pressure plate. We have our alignment pin in right there. We pop that out. This is the drive shaft we're going to be using. This is from Seems Legit Garage. It's a 3.5-inch aluminum single piece that comes with both the adapters. So we got new goodies in. This is the steering shaft coupler. I already removed it and installed the new polyurethane one to replace this rubber one. It was already starting to show wear and starting to crack, and don't need that one anymore. Also, back here, we have a reservoir. And this is going to the e-brake. And we already did a bleed on it, so she's working. And then we'll crawl underneath. As you can see, we got the adapter. I might have to make some clearance. And then also, transmission is in. As you can see right there, there's the shifter. I don't have the linkage made yet. It is extremely short. So I've got a lot of work done. We got the bushings in place. I made a transmission mount. We also got the drive shaft in. Got the shifter all finished. I cut this one down to 70 millimeters. All right, so we got the steering coupler right there. And as you can also see, we've got the motor mounts in. We got the clutch line in that goes to the factory slave cylinder. As you can see, I cut the normal line, put my own fitting in place. Got the interior back inside the vehicle. 3 pedals, all tucked away. You can probably just barely see the master cylinder. The e-brake and the shifter. So we're gonna work on getting the exhaust on, and after that, we'll start to get the intake manifold back on too. We'll fill up the cooling system. All right, here's the M50 motor, and it's not a new one. It's the same one that just came from that car. I ended up finding out it has a leaky head gasket from the exhaust side over here. So instead of rebuilding this motor, I decided to go with the diesel motor. So this one's still a BMW motor, but this comes from E90. This is a 335D motor. These are all aluminum, twin turboed. But here in the States, we only got the automatic ones. So I bolted on the diesel European transmission that I had, and we're gonna be running that. Right here is the E36 diesel arm. I read online that they bolt right on, and that is not true. The upper hole and the rear hole for the E46 diesel does, but not the front one. So I ended up chopping the ear off and then welding all of this in. It came out pretty terrible because of all the porosity in the actual casting. On the actual subframe, I reinforced it. This engine harness right here is from the American car, but right now I am running the European harness because the standalone I got uses everything from the European model. On the table, this is a bunch of other parts to make it all work. We have the ECU, from ECU wire. This is the standalone. Gives me an OBD2 plug, and then we're running this on drive-by wire instead of drive-by cable. This is the motor arm I made for the right-hand side. This is the E36 arm, and it does not bolt onto the TU top engine, which is the one I have. Right here is a single mass flywheel from PMC. This allows me to just run a normal Sachs clutch, and with the standalone, we're running just the normal M57 inline pump and fuel filter. Also on the table are just some rear spherical bearings. So we're gonna get the transmission off, we're gonna get all the clutch and everything back on. We'll weld up the rest of the mount. And once everything's situated, we'll start finishing up some more of the wiring. All right, we made some progress. We got the motor in the car. So both the E90 and the E46 engine arms actually did not fit into the E36. So at least this side you can see I had to make my own engine arms. But I like how the engine fits now, the hood closes, and there's plenty of clearance still for all the cooling system. Oh my god, it's magic. Look, the engine's out of the car again. Well, the battery died, and it took me that long to charge a battery on one of these GoPros that I got the engine back out of the car. So let's go check it out. As of right now, the pilot bearing is actually the wrong one. My transmission input shaft also has its own pilot bearing. So obviously that's not going to work. So we got this adapter right here. We're going to pull out this pilot bearing, put this adapter in, and that's going to line up our shaft. Also got the new pivot pin in. This is a stainless steel one. So that means swap out that, we'll get the new clutch on, and then we can bolt the transmission back onto the engine. Over here, we got the engine arms. These are both of them. Just painted them primer black, keep it very, very simple. Over here, we got the intake. We did a swirl flap delete. So normally there would be a flap running through the channel right here that would open and close based off a motor from signals from the ECU. These are just block off plates. And now it's just straight runners. I'm working on a fan setup right now. I have this Mishimoto fan. I really wanted to run it, but also love a clutch fan. And that brings us to the progress right now. All right, flywheel and the clutch and everything, the pressure plate, they're all bolted together and all torqued down. So we can move over to getting the fork and the pilot bearing and getting the transmission mated. And we're gonna set it in the car.